Hello once again. In this video we're going to look at the return keyword in functions, as I said in the last video. So we've already seen what a function is, the basic usage of a function, how to call a function, the format to creating a function. But now we're going to look at something very useful in functions and very used in programming in general. And that's returning values from functions, because we saw on the other episode that we were just performing something here. There was no way to actually get back the result. Well, what return does is give you back the result. So here, let me just explain this. We have the function we created, which we've called super complex calculation, the parentheses, which takes no arguments. Then, like I said in the previous video, here in between the parentheses and the opening bracket, which had to be on the first line, so on the same line as the whole function expression, we have the return type, and what we're returning is an int. Because if we go inside the function, we have a variable called e, and I've just set it equal to a random super complex formula expression thing, which returns a number, obviously, because we're dealing with numbers. So e is going to store the result of this, and what we're doing is giving the user back e. We're giving him back. And how do we get it back? Well, we just set a variable equal to the super complex, to the function that has a return value. And what this does is returns e. So this function is executed, and once it gets the return statement, whatever is behind the return keyword is going to be given back to the variable. So here, as you expect, result is going to be equal to all of this, because we're returning this back, and we're just simply printing it. So if I do run this, we get 0, so that expression must have given 0. And I'll get back. So yeah, maybe there's something wrong with it. Let me just try 5 plus 2, just to make sure I haven't messed up any calculation. 5 plus 2 is 7, yeah, so it completely works. Just the previous expression we had was kind of weird. Okay, so how is this useful, you may ask, because all we're doing is printing the result here when we could have not used this and just printed it. Well, in programming, you might not use it now, but you're going to be dealing with these return types all the time, pretty much. You're going to see when we get into web programming, there are lots of functions which return the main data, the main result, and an error, and you could use the error to do any error handling, which of course we'll see later on in this course. And yeah, those are pretty much return types. And obviously, if you want to return, for example, a string, then you'd write here string. You could have e equal to some string, and if we run this, we'll have some string. What happens if we have int and we're returning a string? Let's see what error this gives us. It's going to cannot use e type string as type int in return argument. So it basically tells us we can't use a string where we're expecting to return an int value. So obviously, whatever you're returning, you have to put the type here. What if you want to return multiple results? So like I was saying, the error, we'll just have another thing. Well, all you can do is add parentheses, so you can't have, for example, string and int. I'm not sure if it works or not, but it always works if you had parentheses like that. So what we're saying here is, first return a string and then an int. What does this mean? Well, we can create, let's call this str for string and num for number. So how do we return this? Well, the same as here. We first return the string and then comma and then a number. So the string, which is str, and then the int, which is num, and goes here. So here, this is called unpacking values, because we're pretty much unboxing the values. So here, as you would expect, you'd have to do comma. We could call this the string and the number. And as you can expect, the string is going to return the first return data, and then the number is going to have the second return data, which is an int. So that's pretty much return. Like I said, if you're new to programming, you might not find sense to this, but obviously if you have programming experience, you'll know that this is very common, and of course you'll instantly understand this and why it's used. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll be speaking about variadic functions.